Today we'll be looking at the advantages and disadvantages of ICT in business and how you can measure the impact of ICT use in business. I'm being joined on the program by Fred Agbata. He's an ICT and social media expert. Good morning, Fred, and thank you for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's just start basic. Can we describe developments in ICT as a revolution? Because things seem to be changing so rapidly.
Yes, I mean, it's remarkable what is going on in the ICT world today. A few days ago, Steve Wozniak, one of the men that pioneered modern computing, was around in Nigeria. And from his words, from his very mouth, he said that the speed at which ICT is going, that even himself is marveled. So you can imagine somebody who is a guru in computing telling other people that he is marveled at what's happening today, and that we're getting to a stage where it's possible for computers to begin to write their own programs. You know, so it's the advantage is good. Nigeria is also catching up.
Exactly,
Nigeria,
because I was just going to ask if Nigeria is ready to adapt to these changes that seems to be coming so fast.
Well, if you look at the way it happened, from the government standpoint, they weren't ready for it. But the way it has happened now, everyone has no choice. I mean, everybody has joined the bandwagon. Today, you have a government officials on social media sites. You have captains of industry on social media sites. Everybody's tweeting. Everybody's doing it. So, you know, even though we weren't prepared for it, but right now there's no going back. We have put our hands on the plow. We can't look back. Nigeria Nigeria's one of the fastest growing internet countries. Just every day, I think we're about the 10th largest internet user population. And it's growing. It's growing. By the time we have more people have access to broadband, it's going to get better. And we just can't play the waiting game anymore.
Okay, so now as it is, since we seem to be like the 10th largest country in terms of using internet and all the rest of it, how much of this have businesses, keyed into?
Well, it is still low. It is still low, but it's growing.
When you say low, how in terms of percentage?
Well, if you look at it, let me start by saying that one of the greatest challenges we have in Nigeria is data. So most of the data that we had, even the one that I talked about, I mentioned now, it didn't come from Nigeria. It came from a foreign institution, a foreign organization. So we have issues with data. But if you look at the fact that more Nigerians are SMEs compared to the big players are less than 5%. I mean, the multinationals and the big banks and the big players, they're less than 5%. The core of the business structure in Nigeria is more of SMEs. And a lot of SMEs are yet to even adapt the internet. So it is still very low. Now, when it comes to individual usage, that is high. That is about 50 million users when it comes to individual usage. But again, more SMEs are beginning to begin to go online. More businesses are beginning to use technology to modernize and make their process more effective. So it's growing, but data-wise, it's going to be difficult to give out data in Nigeria.
Okay, so since we know the issues already surrounding the data and all the rest of it, let's talk about why is it that businesses can't easily get their products and services online? Why does it seem as if they shy away from it? Because that's sometimes we feel that way.
Yeah, because change is an enemy to most people. A lot of times we try to resist change. So I think the first thing is change. As I was coming here, I was listening on the radio, and then it was talking about a U.S. company that wants to shut down, a U.S. chain of stores that wants to shut down some of its branches. I think it has about 1,000 plus branches in both U.S. and Canada, but he said he's shutting down some branches this year. Shut down about 46 last year, shutting down some this year. And the simple reason he cited was that more shoppers are going online. So yes, businesses are not adapting, but you see the way it's happening, I mean, the e-commerce revolution that's happening in Nigeria is suddenly a lot of people are beginning to say, we have to shift. So whilst, yes, the percentage of people online is still low, it is growing because more people are now beginning to see there is need to be online. I mean, whether is an auto parts dealer or somebody who sells plumbing materials, I have seen businesses of that nature replicated on the internet. So it means that even those that are now still in the traditional way of doing business, they're beginning to see that these other guys are actually taking up a chunk of...
Sometimes, sorry to cut you there,
Yes.
but sometimes, like you said, people are afraid of change.
Yes.
But change is inevitable in this world that we live in. And so if we know that change is inevitable, do we try to, or do ICT experts like you, try to make these traditional business owners, think of the benefits that they can get when they're online?
Yes. Well, in as much as we will do our best, I think it has to do with the government to carry up a mass sensitization program.
Now that's always my issue. Why does it always have to be a government mass sensitization? Why can't individuals like you or the private sector actually get up and
yes,
do
but there's a
the
limit to what we can
sensitization?
do. I mean, the opportunity came to be here, and I'm doing my bit. But the government can do bigger. I mean, this was the same thing when Steve Wozniak was asked. I mean, he was asked in Nigeria just about on Tuesday. He was asked. He said, "Steve, how do you think we can get more Nigerians to go online to adopt technology?" And he said, "The government." Now, he might be wrong, but the truth of the matter is that, I mean, who would leave what he's doing and go and start sensitizing people that way? Except these opportunities come, and then now, how many times can people come on this kind of program? But the point is this. There has to be a conscious effort to get more Nigerians to adapt to technology. Now, we must understand that technology is disruptive in nature, especially this kind of technology.
Exactly.
It's highly disruptive in nature. So it means that, I don't want to mention brand names, but it means that a company A can be the super brand of smartphones 5 years ago. Today, it's pleading. It's pleading for clients. So it's disruptive. The same way a lot of people are still going to lose their jobs on virtue of technology. More people, I mean, the e-commerce shops, the major ones combined, they have about 1,000 plus employees. But then they have actually disrupted some other organizations, knowingly and unknowingly, that have also let go some staff. So technology is disruptive in nature, so we must be ready for the balances. Now, you mentioned about the positives and the negatives. Now, while it has its positives, it also has its negatives. That is the truth. You know, but the truth of the matter is that, from my own point of view, I think the positives outweigh the negatives. So,
you think?
From my point of view.
You know, because you see a lot of times when you take a chance when you want to buy an item online, you take a very big chance.
Especially in Nigeria.
Especially in Nigeria, since we're still trying to get used to.
Besides that, there's no law backing it actually. So it means that if you pay me online and I don't deliver, there's really nothing you can do.
There you go. So why will I take such a chance as a traditional business owner, knowing that if a customer buys something from me online and then they don't feel comfortable with it, there's a possibility of a lawsuit.
But you know, I mentioned government, and that's why I said, I mean, the cybersecurity bill has been hanging there. I mean, that's why you see it all falls back to government consciously doing what they have to do. If that bill comes out, it means that then that's an authority for me to sue you. Even if you sue me as it is now, let's say you want me to deliver and I don't deliver, and you sue me now, actually, there's a chance that the judge will, there is no law backing it right now. E-transaction. In fact, a lawyer friend was telling me that about 2011, that's when you can now submit email evidences. That before now, you can't even submit camera evidence. You can't submit email evidences. To ask you to bring negative. You know, so there's a lot of things that are there now that, in fact, it's way behind. In fact, the government is even worse. I mean, he told me about some laws that they're still using that the colonial master passed on to us. A lot of funny things that are going on. So there's some things that what you are having on your laptop will not even suffice in the law court. But again, I like what the guys that are in this channel they are doing, what they are innovating. They came up with a strategy called pay on delivery. So it means that you don't even have to see, you wait to see your goods and pay. That's an innovation. It's only happening in Nigeria. That's the Nigerian spirit. Just the same way the base station things happen when GSM, on the advent of GSM. So it takes a while, it takes a process, but because the guys want to be in business, their game is to build trust, and they're building the trust. So it has to do with and I'm happy that the young people are the ones pioneering this industry.
You'll be surprised that we don't have just strictly, when you say young guys, what's the demographic you're looking at?
Well, again, when I say young guys, I mean they're 30s, late 20s and 30s. They're the guys pioneer. But again, you have older guys backing them up in terms of experience, venture capital, you know. So you still have those old guys in the play, but at least the people in the forefront are the young guys building things. I mean, back 5-10 years ago, you can't even imagine starting a business without needing an office structure. Today, you go to a place like CC Hub, you have about close to 200 young entrepreneurs fiddling with ideas, fiddling with technology ideas, looking at solutions. And they work in co-op spaces. You don't have to go and rent an office. You can use there as your office. And then it works for them. And so I see great things coming out of Nigeria. I see great things coming out of business with the use of technology in Nigeria.